following 4 Aces production is for mature audiences only. Listener discretion is highly advised.
Hey, yo, what's up, y'all? It's just me, K-Double. Hey, normally I would be here with Alpha, but unfortunately he had to take the week off. He had some personal business to deal with. So it's just me to come and bring you a review right quick of the WrestleMania Backlash pay-per-view. We'll be back with us next week when we'll be talking DCTV. This pay-per-view kicked off on Peacock. In a very unusual way. Sheamus came out and was about to give his standard open challenge, and I thought it was going to be Humberto Carrillo that walked out, and it was the one and only Ricochet. Ricochet came out and gave him a pretty damn good match, but in the end ended up losing. Of course, he's a smaller guy. Sheamus is the dominant heel champion, so you got to get the victory. It wasn't for the United States Championship. It was just a singles match, but it was one of the best matches of the night. Great way to kill about 7 to 10 minutes. Let's see. The real story of it came at the end of the match when Sheamus got the win and beat down a little bit on Ricochet. Ricochet came back and beat down on Sheamus a little bit, took his coat and his jacket, and started dancing with it. So it turned out to be a pretty good match. It was pretty fun to watch. It definitely moved along to Sheamus versus the small guy, because now you have Sheamus versus not only Humberto Carrillo, who came back into play the next night, but you also have Sheamus versus Ricochet, and Ricochet's a decent enough opponent for anybody. Let's see. The pay-per-view itself opened with an amazing triple threat match, and that was Rhea Ripley defeating Asuka and Charlotte Flair to retain her Raw Women's Championship. Yeah, I don't know what to say about what else to say about this match. It was a great match from beginning to end. Everybody all knows that Charlotte Flair can go. That's why she's a 13-time women's champion. I don't care what anybody says. You can't convince me that the reason why she's a champion is because of her daddy's name. Nah, she's a champion because she can go in the ring. Now, I've seen her put on some hell of a matches with multiple females, Asuka being one of them. And this time, Ripley, Asuka, and Flair delivered. It was a hell of a hot way to open up the pay-per-view, get the crowd really going. And it was interesting because Rhea Ripley ends up pinning Asuka for the victory, so Flair doesn't get pinned, which led to what will most likely be an amazing match, hopefully at Hell in a Cell, between Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. But that's the next pay-per-view. We're still talking about WrestleMania Backlash. But the scene of the day for me was Rhea Ripley standing over Asuka, or standing over Charlotte Flair, standing on the ropes, laughing at her, talking about, "Hey, remember this? This is still mine. This is still mine." And it made me just laugh. Like, it's nice to see a new face injected into the women's division. To be honest with you, I've been saying for a while now that I think that Becky Lynch, if she's ready and available to come back, needs to come back. I think infusing her into this women's division, whether it be on SmackDown or on Raw, would help the division tenfold. I would love to see her and Rhea Ripley go at it. I would love to see her and Bianca Belair go at it. I think it would be gold and money. But right now we got this pretty much the same 3 repetition. Everybody else is broken off into tag teams, and in the tag team division there's pretty much only the 3 women in Asuka, Charlotte Flair, and Rhea Ripley that are really competing for that Raw Women's Championship. So hopefully we'll see that division expand here soon. The third match of the night, or second match of the actual pay-per-view, was Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio defeating Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode to become the first father-son combination of tag team champions. I thought this match was very well done, primarily because Ray carried the match, as you would expect. Dominic's still pretty green, only a couple of years into his career. So Ray carried the match. He the storyline was that Dolph and Bobby Roode beat down Dominic Mysterio backstage before the match started. So Dominic wasn't there. Ray decided he's still going to go out and he's going to be the go rah-rah guy and get out there and give it his all anyway. And Ray's surviving because Ray knows how to do that. You know, that's 30 plus years of wrestling experience. And so Ray survives long enough for Dominic to come limping out. And as soon as I'm not going to lie here, guys, as soon as I saw Dominic come out, I pretty much understood that the Mysterios were about to win the tag team titles. Like I had a feeling when Ray wasn't put away by the Dirty Dogs in the first 5 minutes of the match that I'm like, I have a feeling we're going to see the titles change hands. And it was primarily because of the way everything was set up. It's a classic storyline. People can say predictable, but I loved watching it unfold. I wouldn't read dirt sheets if knowing what happened ruined my experience. Knowing what's going to happen or knowing what's happening ruins my experience in watching wrestling. Seriously, like why would you read dirt sheets? Like, then I understand that kayfabe means a lot to people, but I've always known on some level, like, these dudes don't truly hate each other. They're putting on a show for me. And I watch more for the entertainment of it. And I guess that's what allows me to be able to enjoy just about any type of wrestling that's out there. But Mysterio and I believe Ray or Dominic got the pin after the what I call Uncle Eddie monster size splash from Dominic Mysterio on Bobby Roode. He gets the 1, 2, 3, and the boys walk out as the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Congratulations to Dominic and Rey Mysterio. That's got to feel good. All right, so this next match, and after this match is kind of one where we'll break it off. Bravo to all parties involved in this match. They all played with the gimmick very good. They definitely played it up, and unfortunately, one of the wrestlers involved in this match, being The Miz, actually got hurt and is due to be out for 6 to 8 months because of it. But that was during the match. That wasn't during the post match segment. What made this match unique is it was a lumberjack match. And people go, well, wait, why does it being a lumberjack match make this particular match special? It didn't. The thing that made it special, weird, funny, jacked up, whatever adjective you want to use to describe it, was the fact that the lumberjacks were zombies. Walking Dead zombies. I don't know who comes up with this shit. Don't get me wrong. Production value wise, it was very, very well done. And that's why I say bravo to everybody involved. But the idea of lumberjack zombies, I don't want to be the dude that ran that past Vince. I think the only reason why it passed Vince was because it was helping promote a movie that Dave Bautista is going to be in, the Zack Snyder movie called Army of the Dead. And yeah, like, it really felt out of place, but it worked. It worked. You had segments where Miz and Damian Priest both jump out the ring and the zombies are coming in, and they decide to start working together to beat off some of these zombies and get them back so that they could get in this match. And at the end of it all, Priest hits Miz with his finisher and gets the 1, 2, 3 and rolls out the ring. When after the match, all of a sudden, all the zombie lumberjacks, who for some odd reason were magically kept outside of the ring the entire time the match, from bell to bell, all of a sudden now crawled in the ring and pretty much ate the Miz alive, I guess. I don't know. At one point during the match, John Morrison hopped over a barricade only to get dragged down by zombies. So, but he showed back up on Raw the next night. But the Miz is nowhere to be found. But we now know why the non-storyline reason is for that, and that is because the Miz unfortunately tore his, I believe they said, ACL during the match against Damian Priest. All in all, though, that feud between him and Priest was pretty damn good, including the match with Bad Bunny at WrestleMania. The Miz and Damian Priest had some chemistry. Now, Morrison, they're going to have to figure out what to do with him. Now, with no Miz around to pair him with, I don't know if the Johnny Drip Drip thing works for him or anybody, but I guess he's going to continue doing it. But it's yeah, I don't know. Maybe the Miz is secretly going to record Mortal Kombat 2, and that's why he's leaving. I don't know, but it was definitely an interesting match to go out on. Now, let's take a look at the top of the card as a whole. Good match, almost match of the night material in the opener with Rhea Ripley defeating Asuka and Charlotte Flair. You had the heartfelt moment with Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio winning the tag team titles off the Dirty Dogs. And then you gave us Zombieland wrestling style with the Damian Priest, Miz and Morrison match. The second half gave us 3 consecutive championship matches that the final 3 of the 7 championship matches that I completely and utterly enjoyed. But we're going to get to that on the second half of the show. You are listening, or if you're on YouTube, you're watching this week's edition of the Cheap Pop Podcast right here on the Voices Presents Radio Network. Hopefully we'll be back with my brother from another mother, the one and only Alpha, next week to talk some DC Comics, but I'll talk a little bit more about that towards the end of the show. For right now, we're going to go into this Four Aces Presents commercial or this commercial break on the radio side, and I'll talk to y'all in a few. All right? Peace. You're listening to the Cheap Pop Podcast right here on the Four Aces Presents Radio Network. Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and wherever you may find your favorite podcasts.
From the galactic depths of the comic book universe comes the ghosts of the stratosphere, ready to galvanize and energize your mind with the latest of comic book news and reviews. And why are you stopping me? Yes, that's much better. Hi, this is Andy Larson for Ghosts of the Stratosphere. Join me every week along with my co-hosts Rob Stewart and Chad Smith, as well as a cavalcade of fantastic comic book guests, as we dish out heaping helpings of the greatest and latest of comic book news and reviews. New shows posted every Tuesday with bonus shows every first Friday of the month. You can find us on iTunes and Stitcher under Ghosts of the Stratosphere, as well as on our website, www.gotstratosphere.com. Hope to see you soon, folks.
Game ticket, $50. Hot dog, $8. Team store item, $25.
I told him I can beat him with one hand tied behind my back, with some glasses on, with one eye lens out, with some flip-flops on in the ring.
Having you listen to someone's dumb sports opinions? Worthless. Some people shouldn't talk sports. For everyone else, there's the Unspoken Podcast, available on most podcasting platforms, and on the web at theunspodkensportspodcast.weebly.com.
And I'm back, y'all. What's up? It's me, K-Double again, and I am here to finish talking to you about what was, to my opinion, an amazing pay-per-view with a lot of great matches, and it closed strong with these 3. You have Bianca Belair taking on Bayley and defeating Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. You had Bobby Lashley winning by the skin of his teeth in a triple threat with Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre. A whole lot of humanity in that ring. And then you had a damn near wrestling classic with Roman Reigns defeating Cesaro by technical submission. Let's start with the Belair match. Bianca Belair is possibly one of the most talented women on the SmackDown or Raw roster, period. I don't care what anybody says. And she's proven it with matchups against Bayley and Sasha Banks at WrestleMania and now WrestleMania Backlash. She's got confidence. She moves well in the ring. She can go inside or outside the ring. I believe she could do hardcore if necessary. And she could do a Hell in a Cell match. She's just that talented. Her and Bayley gave us a show. And I mean told us a story. People can be as upset as they want about WWE and how sometimes repetitive their matches can be, but there's little tweaks and differences to every feud, to every match, to every sequence that are in when the good ones come along, they make it so. An AJ Lee match may have followed the basic WWE formula, but her matches were different almost every time. Same thing goes for Lita. Same thing goes for Sasha Banks. Same thing goes for Charlotte Flair. These women give us their heart and soul, and Bianca Belair is another one in that line. She successfully defended her SmackDown Championship by pinning Bayley 1, 2, 3, and showing that she can hang with the best of them. Sasha Banks and Bayley are two OGs when it comes to this wrestling stuff. Like, I know it doesn't seem like it, but they've been around for a while. Bayley is a Grand Slam champion. So, like, get your mind right and recognize Bianca Belair next in line. She is the queen. And she defeated Bayley for that SmackDown Women's Championship. Now, the reason why I say Bobby Lashley in his match got by the skin of his teeth, it's because Bobby Lashley went through one of the side screens, people. I mean, straight through the shit. Fireworks, everything. Braun Strowman threw him through it head first. Bobby Lashley disappeared for the rest of the match. Was probably back in catering, sipping on some lemonade, getting his mind right, getting ready to go back out here and do his thing. I liked everything about this match until that ending. It didn't ruin the whole match for me. I'm not one of those type of people like with the blood and guts and the exploding death match in AEW. Oh, that ending just ruined the match for me. No, it didn't ruin the match for me. But it was an ending. I was like, well, damn. If you want him to come off looking strong, then just have him dominate. But you also don't want Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre to come off looking weak. So I think it did a good job of making sure that everybody looks strong, but it just sucks because to me, I don't like some of the weak champion moves. And Bobby Lashley pulled a weak champion move, disappearing for like 20 minutes and then coming back and getting the pin. I believe after McIntyre, forget who he pinned. I want to say Braun Strowman after McIntyre had hit him with a Claymore and was just about to win the title. So great triple threat match. I definitely give it like a B+, A- because of that ending. But overall, it was a great match. Triple threat match with three big guys that can go like that. Whew. Give it to me. Give it to me. All right. Last but not least, you had the one and only Roman Reigns, the head of the table, retained his WWE Universal Championship over Cesaro in what was technically just one. I believe the man only used one spear and one Superman punch. And the rest was just all technical wrestling. This is why I don't understand how anybody could say that somebody that comes from that wrestling family, the Anoys, cannot wrestle. Roman Reigns can get in there and go with the best of them. And so hate him or love him, that was an amazing match. I definitely think it won hands down for match of the night. To me, it could be up there with a match of the year candidate just because of the story that was told and how well it was told by both Roman Reigns and Cesaro. I'll say, but let's talk about the card as a whole. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I give the card as a whole B+. There were some matches that, like I said, that zombie match, I was okay with it, but now I'm looking forward to see where they're potentially going with all of this. Bobby Lashley was beaten by Kofi Kingston, and now we've got a matchup coming up next week between Kofi Kingston and Drew McIntyre to see who's going to face Bobby Lashley at Hell in a Cell. I think it might be Kofi Kingston. I think somebody may get involved, and Drew may end up losing, and it may end up being Kofi Kingston. We also saw on Raw that Charlotte Flair got her, or this week on Raw, that Charlotte Flair finally earned her opportunity to earned her opportunity to get Rhea Ripley one-on-one at Hell in a Cell. And yeah, I can't wait. I think Asuka's going to end up being involved in that match in some way, but we'll see how all that boils out. We got a few more weeks before that card is going to be finalized. Lastly, before I sign off here, I do want to touch on Velveteen Dream, otherwise known as Patrick Clark, recently released from WWE in their most recent round of releases, came out and kind of told his story about what happened last year with the allegations against him and what he was accused of and how he was misrepresented. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, everybody should believe him. The guy's a nice guy. I'm going to say this. The guy's story sounded genuine. And the fact that he immediately got in touch with WWE, social media people, etc., and WWE did their own investigation and found nothing, tells me, yeah, I can definitely say I agree with anybody who says that, yeah, lack of evidence does not prove innocence nor guilt. Okay? But I'm just leaning on the fact that WWE is a multi-billion-dollar company and wouldn't risk losing the image, the corporate image that they built over letting a guy stay who they knew actually did something. This isn't the 90s. This isn't the 80s where WWE needs these top guys to be on top. And it's not like Velveteen Dream was a top guy. He was a top guy in NXT, the developmental brand. So it's not like this guy was bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars or millions of dollars and packing seats in arenas. And so I'm not saying anything against Patrick Clark. I believe him that he is completely innocent of all these things he's being accused of. I believe the story that he told in his Instagram story. But I also have to say, like, people, let's not act like this was Randy Orton that got caught doing some shit and they released him. Like, no, this was Velveteen Dream, a guy that was definitely headed to good places within the WWE and was working his way up to the main roster, but he wasn't quite there yet. So let's remember that when we're telling his story and talking about him. And I will say this. If the man is a predator, eventually he'll get caught. If he isn't, then leave the man alone. Accusations do not make truths. And sometimes a person's life can be ruined with false accusations. And I hate to see that happen, ever. Other than that, some shows I want to recommend to you guys: Dark Side of the Ring, A&E Biography, and there's another one where they talk about old memorabilia and how much it's worth. I forget what it's called. That's on A&E too. These are programs that are not necessarily directly wrestling related, or they are directly wrestling related, but they're not necessarily about solely in-ring and pushing storyline. They're just about telling stories about these guys and some of their lives and what they meant to the people around the world who watched them and and adored them. And me being one of them, I enjoy watching it and seeing that there were other people out there like me. Yeah. And get Peacock, whether you like it or not. It's got a whole lot. If you like wrestling, get Peacock because there's a whole lot of content on there to be happy about. the whole WWE Network library will be available on Peacock by August. All right, so remember that. All right, so let me go ahead and wrap this up. Next week, next episode, Alpha should be back, and we'll be talking DC TV. So Flash, Black Lightning finale, I want to say upcoming possible Stargirl, Teen Titans 3. It'll be all DC episode. So be sure to tune in for that. Coming up next in a couple of days will be KD5P, where I'll be spinning some tracks from 1982. So I hope you enjoyed that. And then, like I said, West Coast Bias should be on this Sunday. So thanks for listening in to me talk to you a little bit about WWE Backlash and give you some of my thoughts on some of the hottest topics in wrestling today. And we'll get back to talking AEW and all that in a couple of weeks. Y'all have a good day, and I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Peace.